Here we go, day number 2 of the World Championship of Bass Fishing, the GEICO Bassmaster Classic, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. These are the scenes at Takeoff. Knoxville, Tennessee, day 1. They broke all the crowd records for the launch. We're doing it again on day number 2. The full field of 52 anglers will be competing today. This is moving day. You got to make it into the top 25 if you want to vie for the championship on the final day. Day number 3 of this classic. These guys are enjoying the fruits of having performed so well the previous year just to qualify, just to get here. And of course, they have spent their lives dreaming about and, in essence, qualifying to be in this World Championships, to write their names in the history books as we get ready to go.
Joined by our tournament leader. I know you're going to get real loud, Knoxville, Tennessee. Let me hear it for Ott DeFoe!
It's full mayhem down here right now for sure, David. Man, it is. I love living here. I get to travel all across the country catching bass, and there's nowhere like home. And these people here from Knoxville, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Ott DeFoe, your tournament leader, Knoxville. Let's hear it for
Our day 1 leader, Ott DeFoe, he was the favorite of the odds makers in advance of this tournament, that is for sure, and he's also the favorite of all of these folks here in Knoxville, the hometown favorite, getting ready to go out and try to extend that lead on day number 2. Right now, he is with our own Robbie Floor.
How long have you waited for that moment? And not only Ott DeFoe fishing in your home state, but being the leader after day 1 of the Bassmaster Classic.
My whole life, Robbie. I mean, I started going to the Classic. The first one I went to was at 9 years old, and this one right here is as special as it could be. To be at home fishing this one, man, it just doesn't get any cooler.
Yesterday, I know you were concerned you had about 30 boats on you. It probably won't get better today. I mean, how concerned are you with the boat traffic in the spots you're going to?
A little bit, you know. I mean, I think they were great. I mean, they stayed back out of the way, but it's just the fact of all that noise in the water, trolling motors, depth finders, all that noise is a big deal. So yeah, I just got to manage it and fish accordingly.
This guy is so smooth, calm, collected. Ott DeFoe leads after day 1. Can he keep it up here on day 2? Good luck, Ott.
Thank you, Robbie.
Ready to start day 2, our leader, Ott DeFoe, there with our own Robbie Floyd. Welcome to the Toyota Bassmaster Studios. I'm Tommy Sanders. Welcome also former GEICO Bassmaster Classic champion Davey Height there. Davey, Ott is very thankful to be here. He's happy he's in this position, but Ott knows and everyone else knows that even if you're the winner, more times than not, in a Classic, just 3 days, you have to endure one day that really tests you.
It's very difficult to fish for 3 days. Whether you're on a river or a man-made reservoir, it's always changing conditions with the water temperatures. But when you're on the Tennessee River with all the flooding that we've had this year, very difficult. It'll be hard for Ott to maintain for 3 straight days. Hopefully for the rest of the field, he does struggle just a little bit because, man, he could pull away from this thing and nobody catch him.
That's right. We don't want to run away, obviously. Let's speak as fans here, honestly, with you, but we know that conditions change. It's springtime. Conditions are going to change, and we will see what develops today. How did we get to today? Well, let's take a look at what happened on day 1. Let's talk about day 1 of this GEICO Bassmaster Classic. Conditions are never like they are in practice. A lot of guys who had great practice really excelled on day number 1, and some really fell flat on day number 1. But the conditions, current is a huge thing here. Of course, it's been raining for 6 weeks in this part of the country. Current is something these guys have to master, and changing conditions each and every day. This guy's a good bet to master that.
Exactly right, Tommy. And he's focusing on current, but slight current. Some guys are fishing right in the strong current on the outside bends of the river. Ott DeFoe is fishing very shallow bars that come out into the river with just slight current. You see him farther off the bank than almost any other angler we've seen so far. And boy, did it pay off for him on day 1 with using the lipless crankbait. He caught that 6-pounder, and Ott DeFoe certainly has something a little different figured out.
DeFoe! 5 fish all alive, 20 pounds even! 20 pounds and a brand new GEICO daily leader, Ott DeFoe!
All that prelude to the takeoff today, volunteer landing right there in the heart of Knoxville, Tennessee. What a great host city, and Ott DeFoe heading out to do probably something different than he did on day number 1. All the veterans around here will tell you, don't count on what happened the day before. Day 2 will definitely surprise you, but Ott DeFoe, a great record in the GEICO Bassmaster Classic. He's fished 8 of them. His average finish is 9th place. That's impressive.
Mid-morning to like 1 o'clock, maybe 2 was probably my best time yesterday. It was never just wide open for like 2 hours, you know, just everywhere you went, you caught one. It was just slow and steady, really. It's kind of the way it is with this kind of fishing, but there'll usually be a window where you make like 3 stops in a row and they're really biting, and you catch fish, 3 or 4 stops in a row. But there's one. Stay on there, baby. Stay on there. Stay on there, girl. That's a good one too. Oh, she's got it choked. Right there is the way you want to see them eat it. Check that out. Suck that thing in. Yes, thank you, Lord. Man, that's a good start. Better than 3.5. That is a great one to be number 1. Get right back here, Russ. For some reason I left my tags back here. I'd love to have 4 more just like him.
Well, that's certainly the way you want to get started on day 2. After taking the lead on day 1, Ott DeFoe starts with his lipless crankbait, the Arashi Vibe, and fishing real shallow, but it almost seems to be happening a little too easy for Ott. It never quite works out that way.
A lot of spectators out there as we track over to Roy Hawk, who starts this day in 2nd place. Roy Hawk, who had a great rookie season with the Bassmaster Elite Series in 2018. That's how he earned his slot in his very first GEICO Bassmaster Classic. And he may be a West Coast guy, living in Arizona, as a matter of fact, but he says, you know what? Muddy water's always been a good friend of mine, contrary to what most people think.
A lot of the stuff I fished that I found in practice, there's not big groups of fish. They're more just singles, and every once in a while you'll catch 2 off of like a small stretch, but a lot of single fish, and that's what I kind of found in practice as well. I am trying out new areas, mainly just throwing a shallow crankbait, targeting a lot of stuff outside, as well as occasionally going inside of pockets as well. Fishing hardcover and rock, both. I'll keep expanding and we'll see how it goes.
There we go.
Come on, buddy. A little fatty. Pretty sure it's 14, but keep them honest. Oh yeah. Thank you, Lord. Number 1.
Roy Hawk's first keeper, a largemouth bass, the length limit. Pretty standard for them, 14 inches here on this stretch of water. For smallmouth bass, and Roy had 2 of those yesterday, they have to be 18 inches long, but you catch an 18-inch keeper smallmouth, you're in good shape. And Roy starts this day in 2nd place, but as it stands right now, Ott DeFoe is keeping the field at bay. In fact, extending his lead a little bit over Roy Hawk with Iaconelli, Kyle Dorsett from the Bass Nation, and others in pursuit. We'll be right back with more day 2.
The 2019 GEICO Bassmaster Classic, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, is brought to you by Triton Boats, Berkeley, Abu Garcia, Nitro Boats,
What a great GEICO Bassmaster Classic this has been so far, and we're not even near halfway through. So much going on, including the Get Hooked on Fishing event for kids. I think we broke attendance records for this event as well. Knoxville, it turns out, is a great place to stage an event like the GEICO Bassmaster Classic. Well, let's take a moment and look at our rules of the game. This is day 2 of 3 days of fishing. 8 hours to fish for our 52 anglers on this day, weighing in their 5 heaviest bass on this day. Those bass can be largemouth, they can be smallmouth, or spotted bass. Now, what are they fishing for? A big $1 million purse that pays every angler in the field, and, of course, no entry fees. Right in the middle of the action on day number 2. Here's our first look at Jacob Wheeler. A good, solid day for him on day number 1. Jacob Wheeler We look at the guys who are from Tennessee, but Wheeler's from Indiana. We weren't looking at him, but now he lives in Tennessee. He's won 2 major top-level Bassmaster Elite Series events right here in Tennessee. One of them right here on the Tennessee River, just downstream, down at Chickamauga. So Jacob Wheeler, we know he's dangerous coming into this one right now. And today currently standing in 11th place because he hasn't got his first keeper yet, but this could be the one. Let's watch.
Let's go. Let's just get this thing on the road. Smaller. Might keep that. He's gonna be close. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's right there. We would call this the Indiana keeper. Hey, bass in Indiana have to be 14 inches. So I seen him. It's been a while since I've been fishing for 14 inches. So when I seen this one, I said, hey, that's a keeper. I'm gonna put you right there. I'll fill some water up. There's some bass right here, Gavka. There's some bass right here. We just gotta catch some bigs. Break the ice anyway. There you go.
Wheeler on the board now and pretty happy about that. He'll be looking for those big smallmouth bass. He had them yesterday, knocked out about 14-11. Here's his roommate, Mark Daniels Jr., a similar result yesterday, just a few ounces behind Wheeler.
There was a lot of fish here yesterday, in general.
So Mark Daniels Jr. had a good day yesterday, just a few ounces behind Wheeler, but he hasn't been catching as many fish as some of these other guys that he's been right in the mix with. One thing I did notice is he's using a lipless crankbait like Ott DeFoe, so he has a good chance to catch those bigger fish. For some reason this week on the Tennessee River, that crankbait has done well.
Here we go. Number 1. Gosh, Lee, you took your time getting here, but I'm sure happy to see you, baby. Bill Lewis original rattle trap. Catches them coast to coast.
Well, there you heard it from the man himself. Those red lipless crankbaits catch them from coast to coast, especially here on the Tennessee River this week. It seems to be getting the bigger bites.
Crankbait's very, very popular in this tournament, and that was one of the predictions that most of the anglers made coming in here as we go from Mark Daniels Jr. over to Clifford Pirch, 3rd place. And the weigh-in was all said and done yesterday. Clifford Pirch, the angler from Arizona, and he's we see all these guys out there fighting that current in the main river, and he has found himself a little bit of a hidey hole that certainly paid off on day number 1 to the tune of 16 pounds, 11 ounces.
Got him. It's a big one. No, it's a big one. That's a giant. Come here. Smallmouth. That's crazy, but I think he's 18. Oh, finally. Whew. Hopefully he's 18. They gotta be big to keep here, but that's a big one. That's a pretty good one. I think he's gonna go. Oh yeah. Oh, thank you, Lord. 18 and a half. We got us a keeper. That's a pretty nice one. It's a good one. We better put some in there. That's a good one. Well, we finally got a start. It took us a while, but that water's just getting to the bridge there. You can see the clarity, the line of difference right there. Let me get him in the water. You can see the line, he bit right on the line, but I was waiting for that water to get clear at the pilings. Really didn't expect a smallmouth, but I'd take 5 big smallmouth. It's really weird that there's a smallmouth back here, but I have caught a few accidental smallies.
Luckily it was 18. That's the scary thing. You can catch a great fish and have to throw it back, and that's a heartbreaker, you know.
Keeper smallmouth, though, for Clifford Pirch. That's the important thing to know. That's the gold standard here in this GEICO Bassmaster Classic. Let's go to the qualifier, the #1 qualifier from the Bassmaster Elite Series, Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Justin Lucas.
Well, one thing about Justin Lucas, he didn't have a phenomenal practice like we heard so many of these anglers had, and it didn't prove to be successful for him on day one. But Justin Lucas said you just can't fish memories here on this part of Tennessee River. You've got to keep moving, fishing new water, and man, did it work out for him great on day one. And he's getting it done pretty well here on day two, also staying right on the main river, fishing around these boat docks with a vibrating jig and a crankbait.
Not even sure. Jeez, taking long enough. You can see they're eating funny today. Hooked on the outside of the face. Finally, might not have to work the show tomorrow now. Thank God.
There he is, your Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Justin Lucas, trying to keep that momentum from 2018 translated over to 2019, day 2 of this GEICO Bassmaster Classic. And Justin Lucas, a guy who said he started with very little at the very upper end of Lake Loudon, and it looks like he's going to continue on this body of water right here as opposed to Lake Tellico further down.
I think it's going to be one on Loudon. I've thought that from the very beginning. It's just a different river system. I think it's healthier. I'm sticking to Loudon. I'm not leaving. You know, I could make all the wrong decisions and come in with 1 or 2 bass tomorrow. You never know. I mean, it can happen to anybody out here. So these lakes will humble you very quickly. But if you can get that edge early in the day and kind of keep it rolling, you can have a really good tournament and a really good day.
From Knoxville, Tennessee, Ott DeFoe!
Pulling into that arena, you know, going through the curtains and stuff, waiting to hear your name called by Mercer up there on the stage. It's something that I'll be honest and say that I have thought about for a while, to come in here and to walk through where we pulled the boat in. You know, and they had some videos playing and stuff, just to kind of get us amped up a little bit, and it worked. I can tell you it worked for me, and coming in there today just to, you know, to hear your name called and know what's sitting right there in the live well, to get to show these people is, you know, that they're all here cheering for you, they're pulling for you, they're praying for you, and they just want to see you do well. And I'm proud for them, you know, that I had such a great day, you know, being from here. But it's also humbling just to know that many people are out there cheering for you and want to see you do well.
Oh, it's the result of a lifetime of preparing and yearning. No wonder the GEICO Bassmaster Classic can be such an emotional time for all of these fishermen who are indulging in the highest level of their life's passion. It's a spectacle, folks, and it's a lot of fun. Day 2 of the Classic continues on right here, and we'll get back to our day 1 leader and our current leader, Ott DeFoe. Been using that lipless crankbait to great effect here on this part of the Tennessee River. Right now, he'll break it down for us on our Skeeter Taste the Bait.
That Arashi vibe, one reason I like it over a lot of lipless crankbaits is it's pretty quiet. Just a quiet knocker style rattle. The red one that they've got is really, really red. I like a lot of orange in mine, so I took that gold one and colored it up with an orange Sharpie and a red Sharpie. And then I put some black on the back, but it's got that gold underneath of it, so it kind of has a flash. You know, most red baits are just red. Hey guys, if you don't mind, these two are here working, but like how those guys out there are, I'd really appreciate it if you'd stay like they are. Thank you. The fish I caught this morning, I think it's the first one I've weighed that wasn't on a waypoint. If that tells you anything. Stay on there, baby. Dang, that fish hit it hard. He might just keep though. I mean, I'd have swore for sure that was a big one.
I would love you if you're 14 inches long. And I do love you so much. Pound and a half.
Well, certainly a solid keeper for Ott DeFoe. A little behind schedule yesterday. The size seemed to be a little bit better, but still a lot of time to go. You heard him describe the lipless crankbait that he's using. It's more quiet than a lot of them. Just one knocker, and he did a little adjustments. We all have to customize our baits. Did some adjustments with the Sharpie. The other thing he mentioned, he's only caught one fish so far this week where he did not have a waypoint previously. He's spent a lot of time here on this river with his dad fishing tournaments through the years.
Let's go from Ott DeFoe to Todd Faircloth, a Texas veteran fishing in his 17th Classic. Got a lot of experience in this World Championship. He knows it's all about staying really one move ahead of the fish.
Looks like a good day for Todd Faircloth to get those fish on the scale.
You've got to try to anticipate what the fish are going to do with the changing conditions. You know, it's not really a day-to-day deal, it's an hour-to-hour deal, and you've got to stay on top of it, and you've got to be willing to change, you've got to adapt. I fish off instincts 90% of the time. If I'm not feeling confident in something, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna change until I get that little fuzzy feeling. And when I get that little fuzzy feeling, that's when it happens.
Oh, we all love that fuzzy feeling when you're out fishing. And one thing that we see every angler needs to do, and Todd Faircloth is certainly doing it here, you gotta mix up and change things from day to day. He's done that here with the lipless crankbait. You've seen fishing some marina docks, fishing a little bit of grass, using a vibrating jig, a crankbait. You've got to keep mixing it up, and it can be a puzzle that's hard to solve from one day to the next, but Todd Faircloth is certainly keeping it mixed up.
Can't get a sign. Try to switch it up. Fished a bladed jig around the docks. I flipped the docks. I cranked rock. Fished the grass. Can't get anything going. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Solid fish and catching them steady. That's one of the formulas that will work here. And for Todd Faircloth, it's working. Got him up into third place. Right now, Roy Hawk, who started the day in second place, now finds himself in fourth place. But for a Western angler, well, you know, this is the first time in a Classic that we've had smallmouth play a part in what's going to be the final outcome here. And I think Roy Hawk feels pretty good about that.
It is kind of a strange mix. I mean, I know looking back at all the other Classics, this is my first Classic, so this is my first experience at it, but looking back at the other Classics, definitely smallmouth aren't usually a factor. But this one, I think, for me, I wanted to find areas that were kind of holding both, you know, largemouth and smallmouth, and I think I did. You know, I caught really nice smallmouth in practice and caught really nice largemouth in practice, so hopefully we can just keep it rolling.
Whoa, he decided he wanted it. He must have chased it all the way out. Come on, come on. Yeah, that'd be largemouth day. Number two. Number two. Thank you, Lord.
Roy Hawk, a little bit of a slow start, but that fish right there puts things right back on track for him. Roy Hawk and actually Jacob Wheeler, most of yesterday, and it seems like it's continuing today, spending their time in not close proximity, but in the same section of the lake, Davey.
You're exactly right, Tommy. Down on the lower end of Lake Loudon, and one thing you know about Jacob Wheeler, when he gets on the bite, he can really expand and do a lot of things to improve on a pattern, and he's certainly been able to do that so far this week at the Bassmaster Classic. He moves around a lot. He loves to run and gun with the crankbait in his hand, and boy, if he can just figure out how to catch those bigger smallmouth, you know it could be trouble for the rest of the field.
Well, Jacob Wheeler on day number one had 3 smallmouth in his live well, so he's got some clues as about where to find them.
There he is. Big and 2. Big and dude. Giant smallmouth. Barely hooked. Barely hooked. Yes, sir! That's what I'm talking about right there. Oh, give me some of that. Oh, yes. Woo! Yeah. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. Now that's a dang tank right there. Woo-wee. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. My heart was freaking, dude, pounding. I seen it, it had it good, and then I said, whew, had it good. And then that hook came out, and I seen one hook, and I'm like, you're gonna get one shot. That's it, one shot. I knew I'd get one shot at that fish. Giant smallmouth like that, they don't like being caught. He's big for a reason, that's for dang sure. 5-pounder. Ding. Hey, it's like for Iaconelli and DJ, boys. We always sitting over here. We always think we're like, ding. 5-pounder, just a little 5-pounder. That's all it is. Let's go, boys. Unbelievable, freaking stud. Gosh dang stud walloper. Hey, I must have freaking got supersized. Got my meal supersized this morning. Unreal. Woo. Unbelievable. I'm shaking, dude.
I mean, how cool is that though? You said, let's go down river and we'll try to catch some giant smallmouth. I mean, that's what you said.
That works, right?
I mean, what are we doing?
As DC would say, we chopped down the pond, caught me some daggum freaking giant.
Cameraman Eric Kapka pumping our guy Wheeler for some more superlatives there, because superlatives, frankly, are appropriate for this situation. We talked about a keeper smallmouth being gold. That one you saw right there was 5 pounds of gold, and big, meaningful in the grand scheme.
And it's almost like a chess game. You're out here, you're trying to analyze, look around the corner, see what's getting hit, what's not being hit, and then get to that place when it's fresh. You have water that came up, dropped, warm weather, cold weather, and it's a chess game. That's what it is. You have to outsmart the bass, but then also you have to stay ahead of your other competitors.
Oh, the Classic Outdoor Expo presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. That's always one of the big selling points of this World Championship of Fishing. It is the top outdoor show in its category, hands down, and it is so well attended. Another record-breaking crowd turnout for this important part of the Bassmaster Classic. Let's get back out on the water here. Day 2, Jacob Pirch had himself a pretty darn good day number 1, 14 pounds and 11 ounces. Trying to get things going a little better on day number 2.
I mean, how in the world do you not catch one off Cap Morgan? That'll be a 5 bass limit.
You know, we always say this, you're only fishing for one spot. You know, there's no points involved in this. There's, everybody gets paid. And you're fishing for one spot, and that's to hold that trophy up on Sunday over top of your head, and it's a life-changing experience. I mean, I don't think I've ever cried at a bass tournament, but I'd probably cry at this one if I won. It's something about it, the emotions and the crowd, and your family's here, and everybody has attended this, and you've been here for so long with them. We've been here for a week and a half and been around everybody and seen everybody, and so. It kind of just rolls in effect. It's just one great big family, and I think winning something like that in front of everybody that's here, it's just an awesome deal.
Jacob Pirch talking about it's a great place for families, this classic, but for the bigger family, the larger family of fishermen throughout the world, they're all gathered here as well. So we go from Pirch over to Mark Daniels Jr.
Tommy, Mark Daniels Jr. is doing really well with this red crawfish colored half-ounce rattle trap. Just not getting as many bites as he needs, but boy, does he have the quality.
A couple throws on this log here, and we'll make a move. Oh, stay down, baby. Oh, gosh. Come see me. Man, you see that thing getting airborne? Good. Got him, Mike. There we go. Oh, Mr. Brown. They like these kind. Little 3-pounder.
There you see Mark Daniels Jr. using that lipless crankbait and catching the quality size fish that you need to have a chance to win the Bassmaster Classic. Another angler, Ott DeFoe, is using a lipless crankbait. You can see he's fishing more offshore, fishing flatter banks, and a lot shallower than you might think. A lot of times Ott's boat's only sitting at about 3 feet of water, casting up to 1 and 2 feet. It doesn't look that way because he's offshore, but one thing that you can tell by looking at that view, a lot of spectators around Ott DeFoe.
Today, at one point in time, I had about 30 spectator boats, you know, and I try to just communicate with them, you know, let them know what I'm doing. I know that they don't want any harm. That's why they're out there to cheer me on and to watch me. It does make it a little bit tough. I can't run by a place that I may want to fish later. If I want to fish it, I better fish it as soon as I get to it. Kind of what I know I got to deal with. I got to work my way strategically, work my way into an area, and you know, and not let all that noise and traffic and stuff blow in there on it. Fish. He just barely got a hold of it, man. But he might just keep. It's for sure a keeper. You'll talk about not a bite, dude. That fish was just mush, just bleh. I just started reeling into him too. Probably a good thing he would come off. Not much to him, Wes, but he's number 3 anyway. Until I got 5, I'll take 2 more like that.
Again, Ott DeFoe, that one's good enough to take back the lead for him, but certainly on a slower pace than he was yesterday. And Davey, you mentioned the wind is changing on him, 180 degrees. Back over to Clifford Pirch now. When we saw him at this little spot where he remains, he had struck gold with a giant smallmouth keeper himself, but that's been all that's been happening to David. Wow, did he get a great start to his year.
Giant. I guess they're in top water phase. Golly. Oh, gosh, it's giant. Golly. Oh, God. Thank you, Lord. We may have figured out what phase they're in. I know what phase my heart's in. There's got to be a medical term for it, but that's pretty exciting. Whew. Got him. Well, that one did the same thing. The old line just went slack. There, right on the sand. This one's a largemouth, I think. Now, come here. There we go. Got him. Oh, that's a good one. That's a nice fatty right there. That one's a little better. Thank you, Lord. That's a good one. Now I'm starting to feel a little better. It's not the start I was hoping for, but now we're in the game. That's a solid one.
Well, that's definitely a solid one. That's the kind you need to be able to hold that trophy over your head on Sunday.
Clifford Pirch, yeah, he's got 2 good ones, but boy, you're right, they are the right size. And Clifford Pirch, who built his reputation out west and also on the FLW Tour, knows for sure the real value of the Bassmaster Classic.
This is my 6th time at the Bassmaster Classic, and I've been fishing a lot of years, and I've had some good classics. I'm excited about this one. I feel good this week. I feel like I'm in the game.
That's what's cool about this tournament. You're not worried about points. You know, I'm going out here, there's only really one place, and that's first.
You know, I tried not to think about it too much during the day and just went fishing, but man, it's exciting, dude. I pulled all those fish out, and to weigh 17 first day, it's a real blessing for sure.
It sure would be special to hoist that trophy up come Sunday.
Man, this one is special. This one's important. This is it. This is the Bassmasters Classic. This is the event. If I won the Bassmasters Classic, I don't even know. I couldn't hold it together, I know that. There's no way.
It's the GEICO Bassmaster Classic from Knoxville, Tennessee. So much of a great sports town, but also all about culture, nightlife, the arts, and you name it. Great, great host city as we get back out on the water. Day number 2. Here's Arizona's Roy Hawk. Started the day in 2nd place. He's currently sitting in 5th place, but may have a good keeper hooked up here.
He hit it a couple times and finally got him. Got that big old bait, you know? There we go. I don't know if you can see it or not. That's for you, Sonny Hawk.
Roy Hawk of Arizona got his start and qualified for this classic based on his 2018 season with the Bassmaster Elite Series. Very first event, notched to 2nd place to this man right here, former classic champ, Takahiro Mori, who frankly no one was going to catch him on that week. So hats off to Roy for that. Did so well on Grand Lake. He finished in 3rd place, a little bit behind Kevin Van Dam. Grand Lake of the Cherokees, which is also served multiple times as our venue for the GEICO Bassmaster Classic. So Roy can perform on important bodies of water. We know that about this man.
Yeah, you see Roy Hawk mixing it up there, reeling that jerkbait to emulate those big gizzard shad here on Tennessee River. But the way he's caught most of his fish is this square bill around docks on rocky banks.
There we go.
Oh yeah, stay on there, baby. Thank you. Right on, number 4. Thank you, Lord.
4th keeper right there for Roy Hawk. That, of course, goes right to the bottom line. Lifts him all the way up into 3rd place. Let's talk about Jacob Wheeler. At the weigh-in yesterday, he served notice with that keeper smallmouth there in hand that he's found a way to catch some smallmouth here. In fact, he had 3 in his limit on day number 1. We saw him catch a big 5-pound smallmouth earlier today. Gave him the lead for a while. Now he's slipped back down into 2nd place.
There he is. Brown one. Nope, not gonna help. Not gonna be a keeper. Come here. So, on Teleco, that's a 4-lot on Teleco. They have to be 18 inches. I fished about 16. Stinks to let them go, but hey, that's why they get big too. When you get a 17 and 7/8 inch smallmouth in the boat, you just want to beat your head against the wall. You're like, come on, man. Come on, can't you just poke your lip out a little more or something, man? Come on. Because those are the fish that you need. Those are the ones that are gonna help win the Classic. Not saying the largemouth won't play a huge role, but those smallmouth or those filler fish, they're 2 3/4 to 3.5 pounders, even 4 and 5 pounders. And those are the fish you have to win this classic. There he is, biggin'. Biggin', dude. Whew. Ding. Ding that one. We ding that one. All right, it's time to call. Yeah. I mean, I measured him neither. I'll tell you right now. That's a dang biggin' too. 3 3/4. Ding. Ding that one. Gosh, that one doinked it. This is our opportunity. It is. You don't get very many opportunities to be in a Bassmasters Classic. You got to catch them good enough so we make otter have to catch them. Look at that. This one. This one. You already know.
Ding. Give a ding to that call for sure. That was a meaningful call. Puts him right back in the lead. Jacob Wheeler on the strength of some good smallmouth. Here's his roommate, Mark Daniels Jr. 2 fish today, currently in 8th place. He made his big mark his first season with the Elite Series, a big win in South Dakota.
That is a big fish. Got you. Yes. Got you. Ding. First time leading an elite event. You know, I dreamed about this day as a kid, and I'm here today. You know, a lot of hard work to get to this point, and I'm just really excited to get out there today and see if we can catch us 5 more big bass and keep rolling, keep the train rolling.
Got you, baby. Yes. Yes, baby.
13-3, 69-9, your 2018 Berkeley Bassmaster Elite belongs to MDJ.
Well, a great win for Mark Daniels Jr. in 2018, but here's the 2019 Bassmaster Classic. He's got a good stretch of bank here that he's been able to catch, well, not many, but they're certainly the right size on a rattle trap.
I'm just cycling through a few of these places that I know they move up on and hoping we can connect.
From Mark Daniels Jr., let's head back over to another angler who's been working in this general area most all day long. That's Justin Lucas, current Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Said he only had one little stretch to start this tournament with, but he fully exploited it on day number 1, Davey.
He certainly did, Tommy. Day number 1 was great for him, mixing it up between a vibrating jig and a flat-sided crankbait. Caught some quality fish and tried to move around. Today he's doing the same thing, but not so much luck. But you see him here, back to the flat-sided crankbait on the lower end. Maybe you can get things going like earlier this morning.
Is that a bass? I don't know if that's a bass. Oh, it is. That's a good one. It's a real good one. Come on. Got him. Oh, he slammed it. That's a toad. Woo-hoo! Who's cold? I'm not cold. I'm not cold. Yeah, baby. Everybody's asking about it. I'll just show you. Berkeley flat side. It's called the Pirch side. Man, that was cool.
Good keeper for Justin Lucas, serving notice, as you see right there, right in the middle of the pack, that he is here to play, to go after the title in his 49th GEICO Bassmaster Classic, and he knows how hard a job it is to get it done.
You know, the guy that wins this tournament it's definitely not by chance. He out-adjusted everybody else, in my opinion. Also think on Sunday we could see a big come from behind thing too. There's a lot of pressure on a tough lake if you're leading. These lakes will humble you very quickly, You never know. I mean, it can happen to anybody.
GEICO Bassmaster Classic Day 2 action we are watching right now, and hats off to our host city. It's turned out to be one of the best decisions ever by the Bassmasters. Have it here in Knoxville with always, well, a mix of the old and new. University town, but time-tested places like this, the Lunch House. So much to see here in Knoxville. Someone who's seen a good bit of Knoxville, but he's seen even more of the water around Knoxville. Currently, he's in third place, Ott DeFoe.
There he is. Bam, like this.
That couldn't have been a bass. That couldn't have been a bass. That had to not be a bass. It's swimming way too hard. Today was a very much tougher day. Went a long time without catching anything even close to being a keeper. I had some bites that I didn't get hooked up on good. They just felt like they were pushing the bait weird or hitting it weird or whatever it was. And it was 1 o'clock before I caught my 4th fish.
Stay on there, baby. Stay on there. Stay on there. Golly, I thought that was a giant. Well, I'm sure glad to have him.
I think I am anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm glad to have him. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I just swore that was a giant, man. I feel like Iaconelli right now. That fish is extremely important, though. I love you, Mike, but every fish you catch is a giant. 1 3/4 pounds. I caught one! Four. Y'all didn't think it's ever gonna happen.
Ott DeFoe obviously thankful for that keeper right there, but it's obvious things are not perking along the way they did on day number 1 for our day 1 leader, Ott DeFoe. He's a little bit behind schedule, needs the size to show up. The size has showed up for this guy right here, Jacob Wheeler. No doubt who has the hot hand on day number 2.
Well, we're looking for old big right now. That's the thing. I mean, I've caught a few nice ones today. Got 15 pounds on the Rapple scale, and I mean, definitely a good start. Just the problem is it's going to be very difficult to sustain that kind of weight every single day. And, you know, this morning just sort of helped me settle down. That was sort of my game plan for the morning, was take those largemouth and take what I got and caught 4 keepers fairly quick, and that allowed me just to relax and caught a big one, big smallmouth, and now I'm just able to run around and fish freely, and that's a big deal, you know. And when you're able to put yourself in a position where you can settle down and make solid decisions without really having to worry about 1 more pound and a half would be huge right now. You're able to really just swing as hard as you want, you know, and knowing that you have a limit and you have to catch big ones. So that's what we're doing right now, trying to catch a couple big ones. That's the plan anyway. That one might call. Largemouth. That's gonna help a little bit, I think. Maybe not, we'll see. Seems like a little chunkier guy. Helped a couple ounces.
Well, every couple ounces certainly helps here in the Bassmaster Classic. Right. Jacob Wheeler already at 15 pounds, and it's hard to upgrade from that here on the Tennessee River. Here's Mark Daniels Jr. with not the numbers today like Jacob Wheeler's been able to catch, but he's been around some quality fish. You notice there he's fishing the flatter points just like Ott DeFoe is. Not a lot of bites for Mark Daniels Jr. or Ott DeFoe today. But one thing for Mark Daniels Jr. with the red rattle trap, he's been catching quality fish. He keeps trying to expand on his pattern, going to different places throughout the lake, but he's just had a few places that have produced for him today the right size. He just needs to find one or two more places like that to get his limit.
There we go, he's fat. Thank the Lord.
There it is, keeper number 3. Kind of a slow day for Mark Daniels Jr., but he had a slow day on day number 1 as well, so he might be even a little bit ahead of that schedule. Not a numbers tournament for Mark Daniels Jr., and everybody having to do some scrambling with the wind going a different direction, colder than it was yesterday. All those things you have to deal with, all those changes you have to adapt to in the Classic.
The 2019 GEICO Bassmaster Classic, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, is brought to you by Mercury, Talon, Minn Kota, Humminbird,
Midday on moving day, day 2 of the World Championship of Bass Fishing, the GEICO Bassmaster Classic, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And Davey Height, we started this show out giving props to our leader, Ott DeFoe. What a great job on day number 1, but also with our fingers crossed behind our backs. Please don't be a runaway. I think we got that off the table right now.
Yes, Tommy, it looked like it was going to be a runaway for Ott DeFoe yesterday, but Mother Nature threw him a little curveball. He needed wind, but unfortunately it changed directions, and it slowed the slight current that he's fishing very shallow with the Warachi Vibe. It changed things up for him and made it much, much more difficult.
All right, we got some big-time players who have joined the battle as well, including Mike Iaconelli, Chris Zaldain, Mark Daniels Jr., and of course Jacob Wheeler. It's anybody's second day as it stands right now, but let's take a look again at what set us up here, because Ott DeFoe, 20 pounds on the first day, still super impressive, and it seemed like he was just going away. If you gave him another hour, it might have been 25. Watch day 1.
Boom shakalaka! Giant bass for Ott DeFoe!
Listen to that crowd. Well in advance of this waiting on day number 1, we knew exactly what would set them on fire. That would be this scene right here. Ott DeFoe bringing in 20 pounds in order to take the lead on day number 1. The hometown favorite, delivering for the people of Knoxville and Tennessee.
Right there is the way you want to see them eat it. Check that out. Suck that thing in.
Well, things started out on day 2 just like they finished up on day 1 for Ott DeFoe. It really looked like he's about to slam the door on the rest of the field here. But man, this river is so current sensitive, and when Ott DeFoe is fishing offshore like this, everything has to be perfect, but it's never perfect for 3 days in a row.
Oh, absolutely. You have to deal with those changes. If you don't, you open the doors for other anglers. One of the guys to walk right through, Jacob Wheeler today.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about right there. Oh, give me some of that. Oh, yes. Woo, yeah.
Well, Jacob Wheeler certainly got him figured out today. The current change, and he's figured it out, catching these smallmouth, a few largemouth mixed in, out of the current, just off of the main river current.
Certainly making a big move on day number 2. How about our Mercury move of the tournament, though? That would be former Classic champ from 2003, Mike Iaconelli. Rocketing up the leaderboard, had a key spot here that has afforded him to get an early limit each and every day. Boy, what he has done on day number 2 is really impressive. Thanks to our marshal, we didn't have a camera with him. He was out of the top 10. His marshal provided these terrific images of Mike Iaconelli getting right in the middle of things.
DT6 in his face.
There he goes. That's a big one. This is the one I need. Oh God, this is the one I need. This is a giant. This is the one I need. It's not as big as I thought. Good one now. It's about the size of the one I got. Thought it was bigger than that, but that's 2 bites and 2 casts. That's a good sign. DT6 in his face. I thought that was the one. It was fighting. I had him sort of hooked under the gill plate. So it was. I don't know.
That is a spectacular move up the leaderboard for the former Classic champ, Mike Iaconelli of New Jersey. Check that out from outside the top 10. He rockets all the way to second place. Jacob Wheeler still holding down the lead, followed by DeFoe, Hawk, Justin Lucas, Chris Zaldain from out of the top 10 as well. He's making a move today, as is Jesse Wiggins, an angler who has had in the past some good success here in East Tennessee. All the rest, everyone in pursuit of Wheeler right now. We got plenty more fishing to come from Knoxville. Look at the packed house at Thompson Bowling Arena here in Knoxville, Tennessee. This was Friday. This is day 1 of the Classic. We never get a full house, but boy, we were bumping up against it on that day. Here's a guy who's fishing in his first Classic, Brad Watley from East Texas here. Earned his way here through the Bass Pro Shops Bassmaster Open, so his 2019 is starting out with a big, big event. A lot of fun for all of our 52 anglers who are out there today. Brad, of course, in the race for Bassmaster Rookie of the Year, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. He's there in 4th place. Another Texan, Lee Livesey, is the man atop the leaderboard. Young phenom Patrick Walters is in there. Florida's Drew Cook as well. We'll be watching that race all season long. Let's get back out on the water. Day 2 action here. Second place to start this day, Roy Hawk of Arizona. There's the length limits we are looking at here. That's a largemouth bass, so it only has to be 14 inches.
You know, numbers-wise today, I've caught probably equal amount of fish. They're just a lot smaller today. Haven't caught any of the real good ones I need. I got enough to probably make the cut or something, but I really need to figure out how to catch some better quality fish for sure. I don't know. Tried new areas. Tried it good areas that I found, and caught fish in both, but I just haven't been able to capitalize on a bigger bite. Haven't really lost any big ones, anything like that. I just haven't had the bites. Number 5, little baby one, but we'll take them.
Roy Hawk, the size not running quite as big as it did yesterday, but he's always wearing a smile. Another guy who fits that description is Bobby Lane. From Florida, had a solid day number 1, 13 pounds and 4 ounces. Like Roy Hawk, not going at quite the pace he was today as he did on day number 1. Boy, sometimes when things aren't going right, they are just not going right.
Jeez. God, no! 4-pound smallmouth. Are you kidding me? Here we are, the second day of the Bassmaster Classic. I hung about a 14-incher. Looked like it was hooked good. I went to boat flip it, it comes off. About 30 minutes later, I hooked about a 2-pounder. Trying to grab it, and it jumps and spits. And then right here on this corner, I just lost about a 3.5. Took close to 4-pound smallmouth, and then of course I just catch a 15-pound drum. So it's not an ideal morning right now, but in these events you got to keep your head in it. You just got to say they're biting, stick with it, and let's get number 1 and then work on all the way to number 5.
Yeah, Bobby Lane, you see him switching up a little bit. You lose a fish or two, you just got to change things up, get momentum flowing in your way, and you see him doing it here with the spinning rod and lighter line. Continuing on with the shallow crankbait, you see him paralleling the bank here. He's able to start putting fish in the boat.
Bobby Lane started this day in the top 10. It's been going so slow that he's currently now in 15th place. There's still time to get the job done, maybe make his way into the top 10 and have a shot, at least a view of that trophy on the final day.
Yes, indeed. Oh, did we work for those? Good Lord. Oh, man. Unbelievable.
A little bit of help right there for Bobby Lane, help enough to move him from 15th closer to that top 10. Currently, he is residing in 12th place right there, the angler from Florida. We're going to move from Bobby Lane now back over to Clifford Pirch, who's fishing in his 6th Classic. He's known to be a guy with a lot of patience, that is for sure. And as we get out to his spot, we notice that, yeah, there's another patient fisherman right there.
Certainly is, Tommy. Brings back memories of Randy Howell fishing around Rip Rap and a little pinch point here for Clifford Pirch. Caught a lot of fish here yesterday. A lot of numbers, so you wonder if this place can keep putting out the big fish, and they have done that. The numbers have gone down for Clifford Pirch today, but you can see right there the quality is still there. Smallmouth and largemouth. It's an interesting place he's at. The water was clear, and then it got really, really dirty. He's mixed up a lot of different baits, using a jointed swim bait, crank baits. A lot of different techniques, just stay in this one area where the current seems to be moving back and forth for Clifford Pirch. Be interesting to see if these big fish keep moving through here. It's pre-spawn, you can see these fish are moving in this backwater area to spawn. Clifford Pirch might have something that could hold out for another day and a half.
Got him. There he is. Oh, he's right there on the inside of that deal. He feels like a better fish. Oh, yeah, he is. Come here. Get in here. Here's old Spotty. Look at that one. That's a pretty one. That's a neat looking bass right there. He's got some character. That ain't a bad one.
Well, the limit on spotted bass is 12 inches, but that one is not technically a spotted bass right there, as Cliff said. He does have the spots, and he does have some character. Cliff Pirch staying stuck in one place. A lot of moving around, though, by our leader, Jacob Wheeler.
There's so many variables that we're dealing with right now. Number one, we're dealing with each other as far as competitors. You're trying to figure out where these fish are going to be. You have water that came up, dropped, warm weather, cold weather, and it's a chess game. That's what it is. You have to outsmart the bass, but then also you have to stay ahead of your other competitors. I don't know if he's gonna keep. I don't know if he'll keep. It's gonna be a close one, man. It's gonna be a close one. Oh, might be 17. Yeah, I'm gonna say short. Dang. I don't know though. Never know with these suckers. Keeper. Yeah, 18-incher. Yes.
That's a good one. As we know now, the pain index in this particular classic on this waterway is in direct relationship to the number of 17.5-inch smallmouth. That's for sure.
You're exactly right, Tommy. To catch a 17.5-inch smallmouth and have to release it in a Bassmaster Classic is certainly painful. Well, this guy's not catching many 17.5-inch smallmouth. He's catching big ones when he catches them, but just not a lot of bites for Mark Daniels Jr. He's doing the right thing, fishing these flatter banks, much like Ott DeFoe, but not fishing offshore. He just needs to get a few more bites. He's certainly got the right size.
Man, it was a grinder of a day, you know, as my first day was. You know, it's been tough. And today, I'm fishing, and I'm trying every spot I think I can get a bite on, and I run all over the place, and I never get any bites. Well, I go, well, man, I need to make a second pass on that stretch where I caught those two. And I pull back up there, and my rod locks up.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, this is a drum, you know? It's way too strong, you know, it's too big, it's too heavy. And it just comes up. I'm like, oh my God. And I just started panicking.
Hey, give me something on that. Hey,
Folks at the house, y'all already know what time that is. That right there, ding. Yeah. Ew, baby. Ew. During the Classic, wops on deck, 6 younders, boom.
More than one person, but Ott DeFoe among them, said it before this tournament ever started. 6-pounders, 7-pounders, those are the ones that are going to make the difference for somebody. This Bassmaster Classic for Mark Daniels, boom, right up into the top 5.
Man, you gotta chase them down, man. Whatever it is, your dreams, you chase them. Your goals, you set up for them. You get after it. You don't sit at home, you don't be lazy, you put hard work in, and it pays results. Everybody likes to make excuses, and I used to be like that too. But when you make excuses, you don't make any forward progress. So if there's something in life you want, go get it. It's just that simple.
Knoxville, Tennessee, second day of the GEICO Bassmaster Classic. That's a familiar sight downtown, the Sun Sphere. What a great community. What a great place to have a huge event like the GEICO Bassmaster Classic, one of the top 2 in the sport. Of course, a lot of people would also point to Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Those are the really 2 twin towers of achievement.
Yes. I guess I have, sometimes been like, maybe you are good enough to do it, but there's so many great fishermen that never win Angler of the Year. I love to tournament fish, and I started at the very bottom. My grandpa's watching back home. That's a beast. I started fishing tournaments with him when I was 12 years old, and he took me every weekend, and he's still alive today. He's 80 years old, and this one is for him more than anyone else.
It's insane. It's insane. I remember being 12 years old, getting my first Bassmaster magazine, reading about an Angler of the Year, and thinking, man, that's what I want to do one day.
Got you, dude. Yeah, baby! I don't know what to think. I still don't put myself up at that caliber of a fisherman, but it's also hard not to when you got a trophy like that coming, so
How do you
I don't
top
know.
this?
Bassmaster Classic trophy is the only thing I need now, so.
The GEICO Bassmaster Classic is always more than just 3 days of fishing, lots of related events, lots of prestigious events. Everyone looks forward to the Night of Champions when we honor the reigning Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. It was all about this man, Justin Lucas, here in 2019. He was the 2018 winner, and he's out there trying to be the 2019 Classic champ as we speak.
People probably think I came in here because of him. Well, this is the very back of the creek. I kind of see him. So, look at that.
Fish number 4 for Justin Lucas. Of course, getting that limit is so important, but he's got time to get that done before this day is over, doing some moving around, exploring new areas. That's what it's about for most of these guys, trying to keep up with changes. How do you move around effectively? That's our Yamaha Unlock the Lake. And to explain it for us, Brent Chapman.
It's just amazing how this sport is. A week ago in here, when our practice started, the water was 49 degrees, probably about a foot and a half lower. We have water temps 8 to 10 degrees warmer. We have a water that's about a foot and a half higher. So that ingredients would tell you that the fish that are up shallow, you should have more coming. It's springtime, they should be coming up to spawn, and it just seems like the opposite. And that's one of those things you just can't explain. So you just gotta keep fishing and make the best of it.
Well, some days you just have to make the best of it. With rising water temperatures and rising water, you would think these shallow areas back in these creeks will get better and better, especially for Brent Chapman. He's found some shallow milfoil. Shallow grass this time of year with rising water temperatures means that more fish should be coming. Hopefully they'll move in later in the day.
Gosh, darn it. It's coming right towards me.
Boom, there we go. It's a little better. How about that? Number 3.
3 fish today. A little late in the day to just have 3 fish, but that's the way it is for our 2012 Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Kansas's Brent Chapman got some work left to do. You might say the very same thing about our day 1 leader. That's Ott DeFoe out there now, and still 1 fish left to go for a limit.
I don't feel like I've drained my areas by any means. Those fish are still in there. There's still plenty of fish, but my rotation was off. Yesterday it was as good as it possibly could be. And today I felt like, I'm not gonna say it was as bad as it could be, but it certainly wasn't very good. At that point I was stressing pretty bad, and I just went back to a creek that I've caught a bunch of fish in before, and one of those kind of deals, a history place that I just know is always good. When I went in there wasn't any other boats in it, not even any locals fishing. Need some yarn. Those fish ain't left. The bait's still there. They were just, on the places I was fishing, I don't know if it was that the wind was blowing on them funny or what it was, but they just weren't set up to feed good. That might just be number 5. Nice little chunky one. Please be 14 inches. Oh, yes. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I came back in here with the hopes of catching a limit, and by golly, I did. Pound and a halfer. It's been hard. So very hard. But now I can get rid of some. Thank you, Lord.
So Ott DeFoe having to go to plan B and move back up in these creeks, shallow water, just trying to finish his limit out with largemouth. Here's another guy that's fishing shallow around these docks, Jacob Pirch.
Number 5's a big number this week for Jacob Pirch. He's fishing in his 5th Classic, and in Classics he has finished 5th, believe it or not, 2 times out of 5.
There's a good one, I think. Yes, sir. Get in here. Yes, sir, baby. Now we are cooking with some gas. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bob. Thank you, little fella. Oh my gosh. I don't get excited much, but that right there just got me excited. Boys and girls.
It's the Bassmaster Classic, and it's, I mean, man, that's all you can really say about it, and we sit here and talk about it all the time, but until you come through that curtain and your music starts playing, I just wish everybody in this world could have experienced that. I wake up in the middle of the night and think about it, even after it's gone, so it's just one of those deals, man.
Day 2 of the Classic. Thompson Bowling Arena here in Knoxville is iconic in the world of collegiate basketball, but this week it's all about fishing, and the crowd is anxiously awaiting weigh-in time here. And they're being treated to the presentation of the colors, not just by any team, but by the United States Air Force Honor Guard Color Team, a very, very prestigious outfit, making their way down here from Washington, D.C., and everyone is very impressed with that. I can tell you, and the anglers out there are trying to make a final impression on the water.
baby. And the hook popped out, baby. You know, yeah, I went a little crazy on that one. Baby. Baby. Ding. Super clutch. Oh man. When that sucker come off after I got excited, dude. I just said, come on.
Well, if you've ever fished a bass tournament at any level, you know catching a big fish right before weigh-in is so exciting, but in the Bassmaster Classic, man, that's what we get up early in the morning for.
I tell you what, I would like to see a fish that would make Ott DeFoe, the normally laid-back, unflappable Ott DeFoe, react like that. You're not going to find a better reaction to a fish catch than what we just saw from Mark Daniels. And Ott DeFoe, well, he's got his limit now, but I tell you what, he can use some size because he is going to be coming up way short of yesterday's total if things don't change, and change pretty quickly.
I don't know if he'll help me or not. There are big ones living here. I mean, it's not impossible to catch a good one in here. I think you'll help. This is my smallest one. 138. He is a slight color. He's a pound and a half.
Little bitty upgrade for Ott DeFoe. Obviously, he is not going to have as much poundage at the end of the day as he did on day number 1. So we're going to leave Ott DeFoe for now with not a whole lot of time left in the fishing day. These guys, well, the sun's out. They're hoping for a little bit of a warm-up and maybe an afternoon feed of some sort by these bass in the Tennessee River. That's what Jacob Wheeler's probably counting on right now. He's had a successful day. He has really maybe even exceeded his own expectations for day 2 in the Classic.
Tried to look for that needle in the haystack and just never found it. Never found that one pattern that was just real sneaky. You know, I've been sort of trying to stick to really targeting the smallmouth, especially after I had that limit today, and I've ended up catching, you know, a few of the right ones. So that makes it a little bit less pressure on those stretches where the smallmouth will set up. There he is. Big one. That's it. He's short and stocky. Whew, it's always stressful about them smallmouth. Yep. There we go. Heck yeah, beautiful one. Close to a 3-pounder, baby. Woo! That's awesome. Good call. Close to a 3-pounder, 2-pounder. Gone. Give me some dap. Whew. So you just got to keep moving, man.
Well, Jacob Wheeler is keeping it moving in the afternoon. He started out catching largemouth, but just finished it up with his 5th keeper smallmouth. They have to be over 18 inches. He just got rid of his last largemouth, Tommy.
And Jacob Wheeler, it's unofficial right now, but we can tell you he is going to arrive at Thompson Bowling Arena and thrill this crowd by taking over the lead after 2 days of fishing. And look at the crowd in place right there. A giant crowd, a record-setting crowd yet again from Knoxville. And the GEICO Bassmaster Classic, the World Championship of Fishing. We'll have the weigh-in for you when we return.
The 2019 GEICO Bassmaster Classic, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, is brought to you by Power Pole, Skeeter Boats, Yamaha, Toyota.
Well, this is a big day, a big weigh-in. Who's going to make it to the final day? And what's the real story going to be heading into championship day of the World Championship, the GEICO Bassmaster Classic? They are packed in at Thompson Bowling Arena and most anxious to get going.
From Spring City, Tennessee, Wesley Strider.
Tennessee, you want to get him inside Championship Sunday? I'm pretty sure he's going. He needs 7 pounds, 4 ounces to get inside the cut. Currently 17-2, a much better day with 28 pounds even. Wesley Strider moves into 6th place currently.
The importance of that of a Bassmaster Classic is it's your stamp on the sport as a whole. I think a lot about winning, but I try to put it in the back burner. I do know where to throw at. I know what to throw at, when to throw it there, but try not to think about it too much. But I do think about it because it would be awesome.
Michael Iaconelli.
The 2003 GEICO Bassmaster Classic champion, 2006 Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. 5 fish on day number 2 at the GEICO Bassmaster Classic. 19 pounds, 7 ounces, 19.7. And Iaconelli moves into the top 5 with 28 pounds, 9 ounces.
From an emotional standpoint, there's way more tied to this classic. This potentially could be my last classic. I hope it's not, but it potentially could be. The 2 things I've wanted since I was a literally little kid, 10, 12, 11, 12 years old, was I looked at these things called the Classic, and I looked at the AOY, and I said, man, if I can fish professionally, these are the 2 titles I have to have. I have them. I can rest with that. I'm happy with that. But man, I'm a competitor. As long as I'm in this sport, as long as I'm competing, I'm not happy with 2nd or 3rd or 5th. I want to win. I want another trophy. And I'm going to work hard, literally to the last cast tomorrow, to make that happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ott DeFoe.
At 20 pounds even yesterday, he's looking for 11 pounds and 15 ounces to take the lead. 5 fish, all alive. 10 pounds, 5 ounces. He moves into 3rd place. And the hometown hero is gonna get a chance to fish on Championship Sunday.
I've had good classics before. I mean, I've had really good ones, you know, to go out the final day, be in the Super 6. And I know how it can feel to catch a big bag on the last day, but it was never big enough, not the ones that I caught. That makes me want to make this one mine even that much more, and I'm as determined for tomorrow as I think I've ever been for something. It's going to take a good bag, but it's certainly within reach, and that's all I can ask for. That would be, that'd be pretty special.
He is coming in right now from Fort Worth, Texas, Chris Zaldain.
Digging deep in that live well. Boom, boom, double guns loaded. Zaldain shoots out the lights on day number 2. Looking for 18-11 to take the lead. 5 fish, 21 pounds, 12 ounces, 21-12. And we got a brand new GEICO daily leader in the Zaldangerous one, Chris Zaldain.
If I'm gonna win a Bassmaster Classic, this is the one, 2019, Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you guys.
It's for the fans, man. It's for the absolute die-hard, big bass fans. I'm just trying to be a great
representative of what grassroots fishing is, and going through the ranks and chasing your dreams, setting goals and crushing goals and getting to the level you want to be and dream to be at. I found my motivation. Some guys are motivated by the pure competition. That's why they're Elite Series anglers. That's why they compete. But I'm doing it for Bass Nation. This is the biggest bass fishing tournament in the world. All I want to do is win. I'm in contention going into day 3. That's all that you can ask for. The Bass slogan, big bass, big stage, big dreams. That is me. That is Chris Zaldain. That was Chris Zaldain when he was 12, 13 years old. And to put it all together on day 3 of the Bassmaster Classic 2019, Knoxville, Tennessee, we're gonna blow the roof off this thing.
How about a big welcome for Mark Daniels Jr.
And digging deep in that second live well here today. Boom shakalaka, giant bass. 17 pounds, 6 ounces. Gives him 31-14, and he rolls into the lead at the GEICO Bassmaster Classic.
I've dreamed about it. I've thought about it. I used to make my mom wake me up at 5 in the morning on Saturday so I can watch Bassmaster. And now I'm here competing against some of those guys still that I was watching then, and thinking about where I'm sitting right now. This is a lifelong dream and a lifelong accomplishment of hard work to get here. Man, you gotta chase them down, man. Whatever it is, your dreams, you chase them. Your goals, you set up for them. You get after it. So if there's something in life you want, go get it. It's just that simple. Man. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna give it my all, man. That's it.
Give it up for Jacob Wheeler.
A big brown beast from beneath, right? Whoa, boy. 17 pounds, 11 ounces. He is leading with 32 pounds, 6 ounces, your brand new GEICO Daily Leader.
Man, I've been dreaming for this moment every time, man. Since I was a little kid, watching this event, it changed my life. Just seeing the passion, and that's when I truly 100% knew that I want to be a professional bass angler. And to be right here in this position going into day 3 and having a legitimate shot at winning a Bassmaster Classic, I won't sleep tonight. It's taken a long time in my life to get to this point, and whether I win or whether I lose, it's just so real. At this moment, it's just like, hey, you're leading the Bassmaster Classic. All the anglers that I grew up that inspired me, Takeoffs, your Van Dams, your Iaconellis, lit the fire underneath me and inspired me to become a professional bass angler. Just the amount of love and an amount of passion that I have for this sport and what the Classic means in the grand scheme of it all, it's big, it's huge. Just to get here is not easy at all. So you really have to cherish the moment. But at the same point in time, we all know no one remembers who finishes second.
Jacob Wheeler, we've known for several years. He's a special angler. Now he's poised to make that big step up, that giant step up, Davey. And of course, he's got some company there too. He is not going to be allowed to just stroll right into that title. He has got Chris Zaldain to figure with. He's got Mark Daniels Jr. We got Ott DeFoe. We can't count out Ott yet. And how about a former Classic champ, Mike Iaconelli, lurking as well?
Yeah, Tommy, certainly a packed field. You have Mike Iaconelli, a former Classic champion. Everyone knows he knows how to finish a deal. Had a great day today, lots of numbers. But keep your eye on Chris Zaldain. Had over 21 pounds today, the biggest stringer so far. And if he can do that again with a big swim bait, it'll be tough for somebody to beat him. Ott DeFoe, the hometown favorite. You can't count him out. And gosh, Mark Daniels Jr. didn't get a lot of bites today, but he has the right size.
Special guy in the lead and a special field, especially in those top 5 slots. That's what we got coming up when we contest for the World Championship, the final day of the GEICO Bassmaster Classic presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And we'll see you next time.
Come here. There we go. Oh, that's a good one.
Get in here. Yes, sir, baby. Now we are cooking with some gas.
Super clutch.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about right there. Woo-hoo. Who's cold? I'm not cold. I'm not cold. Yes, sir. Bob. Woo! Yeah!
And the hook popped out, baby.
Oh, give me some of that. Oh, yeah.
A big brown beast from beneath, right? Whoa, boy. 17 pounds, 11 ounces. He is leading with 32 pounds, 6 ounces. Your brand new GEICO Daily Leader.